There's a lot of unnecessary meanness that happens when you're trying to sort out who you want to be, is a quote from R.J. Palacio. This quote reflects a book she's read called Wonder, a novel written by R.J. Palacio. It is the story of a fifth grade boy just like any other boy, but there's one thing about this boy that is different. Augie has a facial difference, which makes him a lot different from all the other kids in his school. In Wonder, Augie must learn how he can change. He must discover his true passion and find who his true friends are. In order to get through fifth grade, he must find himself and discover who he truly is. Throughout the story, Augie starts to learn more about himself and what he is about. He learns different things about himself that he never knew. For example, at the end of the book, when Augie is talking to the middle school director, Mr. Tushman, he notices a picture he drew of himself at the beginning of the year. It's his self-portrait as a duck. Mr. Tushman asks, "Is it safe to assume that this is because of the duckling that turns into a swan?" Augie responds to Mr. Tushman's comment with, "No, I just think I look like a duck." He realizes that maybe Mr. Tushman is right. Maybe when he grows up, he'll be a swan. He'll be normal. Also, in the story, Augie and his friends go on a trip to fifth grade camp. At camp, one of the nights he spends there is movie night. Towards the end of the night, Augie and his friend Jack Will go into the woods to go to the bathroom when they run into some 7th graders. The 7th graders start to make fun of Augie when suddenly Henry, Miles, and Amos show up out of nowhere. These boys start to defend Augie. They start a fight, and then in a panic, the boys run away with Augie at their side. The author writes, "Amos looked at me and nodded. It was cool how you stood your ground, little dude," he said, high-fiving me. This shows how, like Augie did at the end of the book, the boys change. They're nicer to Augie and they feel more comfortable around him. By the end of the story, there's examples of changes in Augie's dad and family. When Augie and his dad are sitting in the car waiting for Augie's graduation ceremony to start, Augie's dad becomes more open and expressive toward Augie. He and his dad talk about how his dad does not want Augie to cover up his face and how he loves seeing it. Augie sees a change in his dad, and it makes him change even more. At this part in the book, the author writes, "Augie, I couldn't stand seeing you cover up your face anymore," he said. Augie realizes that even though he does not like his face, other people do, and there's no point in hiding it from the world. If the world does not hide from you back. In conclusion, Wonder by R.J. Palacio is a book that represents finding yourself and discovering who you really are. We see this through his friends, family, and teachers. When I first started school, I had no idea what reading even was, but when I learned how to read, I got really good at it, and I used that to read Wonder, which I might say is one of the best decisions I ever made. But through reading Wonder, I learned that always staying the same and ever trying something new is like being locked in a box your entire life. It's like hiding yourself in a lifelong game of hide and seek. It is impossible. Augie discovers what he really is about. So why can't we? Rise above the storm and find the sunshine is a quote from Mario Fernandez. It shows how you should not, as Fernandez says, stay under the storm or stay the same. You should change and find new things and find the sunshine.